Hi guys, welcome back for episode number 70 of the weekly playback. I don't have too many new games to talk about. In fact, I only have two new games to talk about. So I will get into them and then I will get into the updates and stuff later on as usual. So the first game I'm going to talk about is called Monsters of Loch Lomond. So this was one of my new arrivals. It's a preview copy that I meant to show earlier, but then I had left it downstairs. So Monsters of Loch Lomond is a game for 2 to 5 players. It's designed by Robin Stockel and Peter Jan van der Veek, and the art is done by the same people, and it's published by Key Card Games. And this is coming to Kickstarter, I believe, at the end of the month, May 30th, I think. So this, if you guys have watched my previous videos, there was one time when I had talked about this one card game that I learned from my little sister called Combio, which can be played with a regular deck of cards. This is very similar to Combio, but with a Scottish theme. So you are going to have a bunch of different cards. So you are just going to have a bunch of different cards with different numbers on them. Some of them are monsters, like there's like a witch, there's like, you know, eggs and like different kinds of cards. And then there's like just regular like villagers and stuff like that. And then there are these 4 victory tokens. The game ends once all 4 victory tokens have been claimed, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And those are worth -3 points each, because at the end of the game, you're still gonna total up what each person scored in each round, and whoever has the lowest amount will win. And then there are these baby monster cards, which are super duper cute, and these seer stone tokens. So basically it's very much like Combio, where you're going to have 4 cards in front of you face down, 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, and you can look at the bottom 2 cards once at the beginning of the round, and then you can't look at them again unless of course you have a card that allows you to look at it. So you're going to have 1 face down Highland pile and then the discard pile, which is going to be face up, and on your turn you can either take a card, draw a card from the face down pile, or you can take the top card from the face-up Highland pile, if I remember correctly, and you can decide to exchange it with a card in your own area, or not exchange it, and then you would put it on top of the discard pile. And some of these cards, of course, have actions on them, which you would then take out, do. So like, for example, let me find a good one. So like the Baobon Sith, which I'm sure I butchered the pronunciation of that, would let you peek at 1 card in one of your opponent's clans. So the 4 cards in front of you, it's called a clan. So at the end of the round, you want to have the least number of points in order to win. So monsters are worth a lot of points, so you want to try to get rid of monsters. And there's like different ways to impact other people's clans as well as your own. You're trying to get rid of the monsters in your own clan. Of course, this is also a memory game, so you do have to remember what's in your own clan, as well as cards that you may have exchanged with other people. So there is a memory element to this, just like Combio. So it plays very similarly to Combio. In fact, in Combio, when you would have a card, when someone would discard a card, and if you believed in your clan you had that card, you could immediately take that card and put it on top of the discard pile. So this game also has a similar element to it as well. It's called shoo. So if someone discards a card, you could immediately shoo away a monster of yours or a card of yours that you believe is the same as the one that was just placed into the discard pile. But if you're wrong, you have to take a penalty, just like in Combio. So you would have to take an extra card if you're wrong. So the game end triggers once someone yells Sabrosa, which means that you believe you have no monsters in your clan, and then everyone else will get 1 turn, and then you reveal your cards and you total up the number of points as seen in the corner of each of the cards in your clan, and then whoever has the least amount of points will win that round, and they'll get this victory token, which is worth -3 points at the end of the game, and then whoever has the least points at the end of the game will win. So yeah, so it's an interesting game. I really liked Cambio a lot. So similarly, this game is very similar to, I only played it at 2 players. I do feel like games like Cambio are, you know, they shine at more players. So I definitely want to play this at a higher player count because I think I would have a lot more fun with it then. I did have fun playing it at 2 players, and I've played Cambio at 2 players as well. But I think a game like this really shines at a higher player count. So I'm hoping to play it at a higher player count at some point because I really, really do enjoy it. And one thing I like about this is that though it's very similar to Cambio, you don't have to remember as much as you do in Cambio, because in Cambio you play with a regular deck of cards. So you have your cards ace through 10, jack, king, and jack, queen, and king, and the different cards do different things. So in that game, you have to remember what role a king plays, like what actions it lets you take, what actions a queen lets you take, you know, and so on. So you have to remember all of that. In addition to remembering which cards are in front of you. At least with this game, like not only do you have really cool like Scottish looking artwork to look at with these really, you know, cool monsters, and the baby monsters are just adorable. But, you know, the cards themselves say the action on the bottom. So at least with this, you don't have to remember like you do in Cambio. So instead of playing Cambio, I would definitely reach for this game. So it's my little sister who introduced me to Cambio. So I'm definitely gonna play this with my little sister because she loves Cambio, and this is essentially Cambio with a Scottish theme. So yeah, so if you have heard of Cambio and you enjoyed Cambio, you will definitely love this game. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing it with my little sister, and I really like the Scottish theme. I think it's really cool. So yeah, so keep an eye out for this. So again, if you enjoy card games that are fun and you know, easy to learn and easy to play, then definitely keep an eye out for Monsters of Loch Lomond. So that is coming to Kickstarter later this month. Another game I played again recently, which is also coming to Kickstarter again, so they're relaunching because in the first launch they made a mistake with the shipping, so they had a shipping error, so they had to cancel the whole campaign. I do believe that they had funded, if I remember correctly, but they're going to relaunch. So that is Etariya. So Etariya is designed by Sky Huang and it's published by Moidias Game Design, and this is a game for 2 players. So I've talked about it before, and I have a 1-minute overview video for it. It's a 2-player abstract strategy game. So I actually played this again last night, and I played it twice, and I can't remember when I played it the first time who won, whether it was the first player or the second player to go, but I was curious. I wanted to keep track of that this time. So, because, you know, with abstract strategy games, you can always wonder, you may wonder, at least I do, whether there's an advantage to going first or second in a game. So I played it 2 times, once going first and once going second last night, and I won both. So, so it is a really good abstract strategy game. You're going to have like different overlays with like clear and black squares, and you're either going to be representing the black, the darkness, or the light, and you know, you're trying to collect these like victory tokens based on, you know, how you place these like pieces out and stuff. So yeah, you can watch my 1-minute overview video, which will give you an overview of how this game is played. It's a really easy to learn, quick abstract strategy game, and I really like it. And I think you know, if you enjoy abstract strategy games, then you will definitely enjoy Etariya. So one of my concerns was like, oh, what if you run out of like, every time you take your turn, you draw back up to 3 stones. So each player starts the game with 3 stones, and then on your turn, you're going to place them into, you know, onto the board on empty areas or on top of existing stones if you have to, which in some cases you do, and then you draw back up. The last player of the game, which is usually like if the game doesn't end before the last turn, the last player is going to have only 1 stone to place. So that in that case, the last player will be the person who went first, which is what happened last night. So in both games last night, someone did not win until after the last turn was completed. And in that case, that person only has 1 stone left to place, because at the end of their turn, they only get to draw 1 stone from the bag, and that's what they have left to place. Yeah. It's interesting because a part of me was worried, like, what if no one like wins, because you need to collect 4 victory tokens in order to win, and each time I was worried that that wouldn't happen, but it did happen. So, you know, again, I think it's really cool how people design games like this, and I wonder how many times they play tested it and how many like how they decided on the right number of stones to make sure that someone always wins. I would be curious if people have ever played this game and no one has won. I wonder if the rulebook actually says anything about that. Like if 4 advantage tokens are not won by the end of the game, then I wonder what would happen. And again, there are variants in here, which I would like to try out at some point. But I wonder what would happen if that happens, or if that can happen. I do not know. But I'm very curious about that. So yeah, Etariya is a good 2-player abstract strategy game, which is super, again, easy to learn. So if you enjoy abstract strategy games, I would keep an eye out for that. I will, again, post again the Kickstarter link when it launches. Some more games that I played recently. I played Rebuilding Seattle again. I played another 3-player game of it and I super enjoyed it. And this time I thought I was going to win. Like, I feel like I really like filled out my district really well. And I was like super proud of myself, but in the end I did not win. If I remember correctly, me and another player tied and then someone else won, and she had quite a bit of points more than us. But I really love Rebuilding Seattle, and it's definitely going to be a top 10 of 2023 game for me. Another game that's definitely going to be a top 10 of 2023 game for me is Bamboo. So I played Bamboo again recently twice. So I played it 2 more times recently. So now I think I have a total of 4 plays of this game. Absolutely love Bamboo. So this is by Devere Games. So, and it's designed by German P. Milan. So I played Bamboo recently with someone who is not like a hobby board gamer, and I taught the game to him. And I guess I did a really good job of teaching the game to him because he won. So, but it made me happy to see that someone who is not like a hobby board gamer was able to learn this game and do really well in it. So yeah, I absolutely love Bamboo. Yeah, it's definitely a top 10 of 2023 game for me as well. Really, really love it. Another game I played again recently was Evergreen. So I played Evergreen recently, and I played a 3-player game of it. So I really enjoyed it. I've talked about this game before, so I won't go into too much detail again about it, but I really, really love it. And it's a game in which you are placing trees and like being mindful of where the shadows are going to be cast in each round, and so you always have to be mindful of future rounds when you're planting your trees as well and growing them. Really good game. Super, like, I really love Evergreen. I wonder if it's a 2023 game. I mean, I just learned it in 2023, so it's probably going to be a top 10 game for me as well in 2023, but it's actually a 2022 game, it seems. Yeah. So yeah, it's a 2022 game. So I played that again recently. Another game I played again recently, which I really love, is So Clover. So I'm not huge on word games, but I absolutely love So Clover. So I actually visited a law school friend of mine, and they're like the only games that they really enjoy. Like, one is like Bananagrams, which I love. My friend always beats me at Bananagrams. So I knew going to her house that I needed to take a game that they would enjoy playing that's a word game, that's not like a strategic game. So I took So Clover, and it was a huge hit. So it was a hit with everyone who played it. We all loved it. It was so much fun. So highly recommend So Clover. So yeah, like I said, I'm not big on word games, but this is by far like my favorite word game. It's just so fun. It is a cooperative game, so you know, you're working together as a team, like trying to just, figure out other people's words and their like how the clues go on the clovers and stuff. It's just so much fun. Really, really love So Clover. So those are the games I played recently. My gaming friends, a number of them have been out of town, and then I'm going out of town, so that's why the gaming has been a little bit light recently. So I'm just going to move on to games that I'm backing. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I had recently posted saying that I'm suffering from FOMO and what should I cancel and what should I back. So I had at the time backed both Wishland Dreams from America and Raising Robots, and then I had canceled my pledge for Raising Robots, and then I repledged for Raising Robots, and then I reduced my pledge for Wishland Dreams from America to €1. I am really struggling with this. Like I know I should not be buying board games. I know I'm like really tight on money and I just don't know what to do. And then another game I ended up backing was Lindy Hop the card game, which maybe I'll reduce to the print and play. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so the problem is like Lindy Hop the card game. I follow a few people on Kickstarter, so when they back something, I get a notification. So and so just backed this. So I saw that Shem Phillips backed Lindy Hop the card game, and I'm like, oh wow, if Shem Phillips is backing it, then clearly it must be a good game, so I should back it too. And I'd been following the creator on Instagram, so I'd seen the post for Lindy Hop the card game on Instagram, so I backed the game. It's not cheap for a card game. It's 49 New Zealand dollars, which is about, let me see what it's like 20 some dollars. It's 22 US dollars, and then plus shipping, it comes out to maybe around like 30 some dollars total, if I remember correctly. So it's a card game, and all it has really is cards in it. I don't think, and a couple of tokens actually, a few tokens. So, you know, I don't know if a card game is worth that much money. I'm curious how much you would pay for a card game like this, but you know, after backing it, the creator of the game did reach out to me, and he's like, oh, are you Sarah Shaw from Board Games in a Minute? Like, I'm just, you know, honored or whatever that you backed my game. And I was like, oh yeah, that's me. So now I do feel kind of obligated to keep my pledge. But, you know, if I decide I can't afford it, then maybe I'll just reduce it to the print and play, which also isn't super cheap, in which case I feel like I might as well just get the regular copy. The print and play is, how much was the print and play? Let's see. The print and play is $10, 10 New Zealand dollars, which is about 7 US dollars. So, well, I guess that's a bit of a difference, because the regular copy is 35 New Zealand dollars. So it is about a $25 difference in New Zealand dollars. So maybe I'll just get the print and play. I don't know. But it's a trick-taking game. It's supposed to be interesting and good. So yeah, and I, you know, as you know, I've really taken to trick-taking games. Like, I really enjoy them now and love them. So yeah, I'm, you know, it's a small indie creator, so maybe I'll keep that. So yeah, and then I rebacked Raising Robots because Alex from Board Game Co. did his to back or not to back video, and honestly, the only thing that made me reback it was when he said it's like similar to Earth, but more crunchy than Earth. And I, as you know, I had recently purchased Earth, which I showed in my last video. And I was like, oh, I love Earth. And if it's like Earth, but more crunchy than Earth, maybe I should get it. So, and I like the theme, and I really like the robots and stuff. They're super cute. There's like even an elephant robot, like one that looks like an elephant. So, I mean, the artwork is just so freaking adorable. And I do love engine building games. So that's why I rebacked Raising Robots, and then I reduced my pledge for Wishland to €1. The thing about Wishland is I don't think it'll be like easily available after it, you know, is published. So part of me is still like, oh God, should I just back it? I don't know. But you know, that's just too many games. I just can't afford all these games. And then of course I have other games which are, you know, have the amusement park theme. Like of course I have like Unfair, Funfair, and of course one of my favorites, 10 Penny Parks, which was in my top 10 of last year. So this is, I believe, a worker placement game. I think it's supposed to be with simultaneous worker placement or something like that, if I remember correctly. It's got a bunch of people from the Dice Tower. Like, it's got a bunch of quotes from the Dice Tower. You know, really good quotes from them. I don't know, I feel like I should know this, but I don't know if the Dice Tower was sponsored to review this game. I don't know if they ever get sponsored to review games, or they just review games. No, I think they do. I think they get sponsored to cover some games for Kickstarter. So I don't know, you know, it's like, do you take their reviews with a grain of salt? I don't know. So if you're backing Wishland or Raising Robots or not, let me know why or why not, because that may influence me. So Wishland has 12 days to go. It's raised $63,000, and Raising Robots has, let's see, Raising Robots also has 12 days to go, and it's raised $129,000. So yeah, So yeah, let me know. And then, of course, stupid me. So in the last video, I think it was the last video, I said, oh yeah, I'm not going to back anything else on Kickstarter anymore that isn't a board game because I've been burned a few times. And of course, what did I do? I went ahead and backed something that is not a board game on Kickstarter. So again, I follow a few people on Kickstarter, so I get like notifications when someone has backed something. And so someone I follow had backed this travel pillow, sleeper hold, which is supposed to be like the best travel pillow you can have, which is good for your spine and your back and whatever. And I never use travel pillows when I travel, and I would say I travel a fair bit. Like I've been to a number of different countries. I think I've been to a total of like 20 different countries now, and I've been to all continents now except for Antarctica. So, you know, I feel like I travel a fair bit. Of course, that might change now that I have a house and a mortgage to pay and a lot less money than I used to. So yeah, so I figured I would back this travel pillow. It's $34 US. So I'm backing that as well. So those are the things I'm currently backing. So moving on to games that I received, so I already showed you guys Monsters of Loch Lomond, which is coming to Kickstarter. So this is a preview copy. Of course, the production copy, I'm assuming, will be nicer, and it'll have a score pad as well, because you do have to remember keep track of your scores from round to round. So I received my production copy of Primordial Secrets, which I was really excited to receive. So this was a deck building game. So it's the tagline is even the competitive deck building game of eldritch intrigue. So really, really enjoyed this game and absolutely love the artwork in it. So this is the rule book. And then there's just a lot of it. Let me just show you the box. So it comes with 4 player mats one for each player. So this is what a player mat looks like. So instead of a board, each player is going to have their own player mat, and you're going to have your cards, like you're going to have like visiting cards and stuff like that. And then you're going to, of course, have like discard cards, like intent cards, and like some other, you know, cards. So you're just basically going to keep track of everything on your own play mat. And then all the cards. So I'm like, God, do I sleeve or do I not sleeve? These cards smell so good. They feel really nice. I absolutely love the smell of these cards. Like I'm resisting smelling them again on camera. But they smell so good and they feel so good. They just feel really nice. So a part of me is like, I shouldn't sleeve this. And honestly, like how often am I going to play it? Like, will the cards really get worn out? I am terrible at shuffling cards. So I've noticed like some people, when they shuffle, they're able to like shuffle like, you know, like this, and, you know, go against a flat edge and like, you know, shuffle, I would say, in a decent way. Me, I can only do it at the corners, and I'm wondering if that damages the cards when you shuffle at the corners like that. That's like really the only way I can shuffle, or I would just have to do it like this, or just like mess the cards up on a table and then just get them all back together. So I'm like, should I sleeve these? Because it's a lot of cards, and I just recently sleeved a game with a lot of cards, and I don't want to have to do that again. Ah, gosh. But yeah, this, you know, there's a lot of cards in this game. Oh, and it also comes with this first player. It's meant to look broken. So it looks broken, but it's supposed to look broken. So yeah, so let me just show you some of the artwork in this game. So yeah, just really, really awesome artwork. I absolutely love it. And it's just a really fun, good deck building game. And I really like deck building games. So I am really looking forward to playing this at some point soon, I hope. Maybe with my new gaming friends, if they're interested, I would really like to play it with them. The designer of this game, he's from the area, like nearby. So, you know, there is also that like connection with the designer, that we're from like the same area locally, which is pretty cool. I mean, there's just so many other cards in this game. I haven't shown you all of them, but like, here's some more. Oops. What did I drop? Yeah. There's like starting cards that each person starts with, and then of course there's like, you know, the these cards, and then they smell so good. I just love the smell of new board games. Like, why is it just so intoxicating? It's just so good. Okay. Did I show you these already? I can't remember. Oh yeah, here are like the gods, like, so those cards are like really cool. Yeah, super cool cards, like just absolutely love the artwork, and again, really good quality. Like everything in this is just so freaking nice. Just, I was really looking forward to getting this game, so I'm glad that came in. So yeah, Primordial Secrets. So that was a game that I had covered for Kickstarter. So that is what I have received recently. So let's move on. Let's talk about updates. So I'm not going to be shooting a video next week because I'm leaving for the UK. So I leave for the UK on Friday, May 26th, and I return on June 5th. So I will hopefully be attending UKGE, but honestly, who knows? I mean, it has been such a struggle. So basically, as I mentioned in a previous video, there is a train strike on Saturday, June 3rd. And as I mentioned before, my plan was to go Friday and Saturday, not Sunday, because that's the day before I head back to the US, and I just didn't want to take any risks with traveling to Birmingham the day before I'm supposed to, be at the airport. So the plan was to go Friday and Saturday, and then for the longest time, I could not find a way to get to Birmingham on Saturday. And then it was announced that there may be a train strike on Friday, June 2nd as well. And after that was announced, a Facebook group, there was a post about it. And then someone posted that she is arranging a carpool to UKGE for Saturday. So I managed to get a space in that carpool. So I'm really excited. So, we'll be leaving London at around 7 and getting to Birmingham at around 9:30 or so, depending on traffic. That's one of the reasons I did not want to take a bus, because a bus ride from London each way is a minimum of 4 hours. And I just do not think it's worth it to take the bus to Birmingham and have just, a couple of hours there before I then have to head back by bus. Like, just too much. It's just too much. And the bus prices are, not cheap either. Like, it's, the train tickets are cheaper and they're much quicker. So I'm like, why would I want to go on a bus to UKGE? Yes, it's a gaming convention, but I just don't think it's worth it to spend 8 hours of travel in a day for a couple of hours at a convention and spend all that money. So when this carpool offer came up for Saturday, of course I jumped on it, and I'm so happy I got a seat. So we will be arriving on Saturday at around like 9:30 or something like that, and then leaving there at 6 p.m. So I'll have a pretty good day at UKGE. And anyway, that's what I did last year anyway. I would arrive there at around 9 a.m. and then leave by 6 or 6:30 p.m. anyway. But then Friday, they announced a train strike for Friday, and I had already purchased my train ticket for Friday. And now I'm like, great, now what do I do? So now I'm back to going on just one day. It's crazy, but it seems like there is going to be a train strike on Friday, and I don't know if the train tickets that I had booked will be valid. I don't know if I'll be able to travel to Birmingham, because I had booked this train ticket for Friday before the Friday strike was announced. And my train ticket doesn't say with which train line, like it's with, like which company, like which line. So, there's like Southwestern, there's like all these different like names, like Avanti, Northern, whatever. So there's like a bunch of different trains, and my ticket doesn't say which like company it's with. So I actually don't know if it's operating or not. So I need to find that out. But my guess is that it's not operating. And so now I'm still down to going just one day, but now Saturday instead of Friday. So it's just crazy. Like, I understand why people strike and everything. And of course I support unions and I support people's rights to better working conditions and better pay. Like even my own job, like there's been talks of unionizing, in fact, because, I'm a legal aid attorney and we don't earn that much. And it's like been really hard to get people to even apply and work at our legal aid office. Like it's been really hard to find attorneys. And we are in need of attorneys. And one of the reasons is the pay. Like the pay is not great. And so there's been talks of unionizing and stuff. So yeah, so I definitely support unions, but of course it's greatly inconvenienced to me. Like it's like, why did it have to be this weekend? Couldn't they have done it the following weekend? But they chose this weekend because there is some big sporting event, I believe, in the UK this weekend. And so they wanted to disrupt the sporting event so that hopefully, the companies would cave into their demands and to what they're asking for and give them what they're asking for. And again, I do support unions, but I don't know like the ins and outs of this, you know, strike action. I don't know exactly what they're asking for, so you know, take what I just said with a grain of salt, so I don't get criticized later for, oh, Sarah supports this or this. You know, like I don't know much about it, to be honest. So I haven't done much research into it, but I will just say in general, I support, you know, better working conditions and better pay for people. So moving on. So yeah, so that's my UK plan for now. So maybe I'll definitely be there Saturday, maybe Friday, maybe not, who knows. You know, and I want to say definitely be there Saturday, and I hope that, you know, the carpool happens, and I hope that there's not like some last minute snafu and that I don't get to go to UKGE at all. And again, of course, I'm planning on going for the media event Thursday night, which, you know, it's like an hour train ride there, and then spend like 3 hours there for the media event and then come back. So I'm going to do that, so that way I'll at least be able to pick up my badge on Thursday, and then if I do get to go on Friday and Saturday, then, you know, I don't have to wait in line for my media badge at least. So yeah, so we'll see, you know, so it still remains to be seen exactly what's going to happen. So moving on, I think that's like the only update I have. So again, because I'm going to the UK next week, there won't be a video again until after I return from UKGE, from London, from the UK after June 5th. So there will not be a video until the weekend of June 9th. 10th, yeah. Okay, moving on. So I did receive some questions, which I'm excited to answer. So one of the questions I received was, how much control do you have in acquiring preview copies for crowd-funded games? One would think a content creator would be more influential previewing games they are more excited, interested in playing. So do you actively seek out games to preview? Do you just show whatever, or do you just show whatever FedEx drops off? So FedEx doesn't just drop off whatever. So there are some games that I receive unexpectedly, like, you know, CMON, I guess I'm on some list of theirs, and I've received games from CMON unexpectedly. Those are games that are just coming to retail. So that would include like Classic Art by Rainer Knizia, and it included some other games that I've received in the past from CMON. So that's always a pleasant surprise when I get games that I'm not expecting. But for preview copies, I typically am approached by the company if I've worked with them before, or there's a thread on BGG which lists all the upcoming crowdfunding campaigns. And so sometimes, you know, I do reach out to publishers myself, and sometimes it actually results in a success where they agree to let me preview a game. So that's always nice when that happens. But I do have, like, you know, a standing relationship with some publishers now. Like, so for example, like Alley Cat Games, like I feel like it's, you know, that they would reach out to me to preview a new game of theirs, especially if they know it's up my alley. Like, not every game that a publisher is that they're coming out with may be up my alley, so there are going to be times where maybe they won't reach out to me, or I may not want to preview a certain game if it's not up my alley. But for the most part, there's certain publishers that I feel like I have a good relationship with, like Sinister Fish Games, the publisher of Villagers, Streets, and Moon, like 3 games I absolutely love, especially Moon. Like Moon, like obviously, like just rose to the top and became one of my top 10 games of all time, by Hakan Gardner. So, you know, and then there's Ivy Studios, like I have a, you know, a working relationship with them. So there are different publishers who I have a working relationship with, who I'm able to get preview copies for crowdfunding campaigns, because, you know, they'll reach out to me. And but otherwise, I do reach out to companies myself and say, oh, I see that this game is coming out on such and such date, and I would absolutely love to preview it. And of course, I give them links to my content and give them some numbers to go off of, you know, to make a decision. And sometimes it's successful and sometimes it's not. So yeah, and the same case for retail copies. Like, you know, like I have I'd say a good relationship with Devere Games, and they know that I regularly post content for their games because I really love their games. So, you know, if I want a review copy of a Devere game, then, you know, there's a good chance that I'll probably get it if I ask for it. So, which is really nice of them. So that's how that works, but very rarely do I have games just show up unexpectedly. So that's how that works. And if someone approaches me and it's a game that I do not think I would enjoy, then, or that is not up my alley, then I'm not going to play it. Like, you know, like those really big, like dungeon crawler type games, or games that are like really miniature heavy with like monsters and stuff. Like, you guys know I'm not into that kind of stuff. So if someone approaches me for a game like that, which I think is very unlikely to happen anyway, if people look at my content, they'll know that I'm not like into those really big, like box kind of games, then you know, so that's not going to happen. But if they did approach me, then I'd probably decline. Like, I have declined to review games which I feel like I would not enjoy. Another question is, do you watch any how-to-play or gameplay videos? If so, is there any one you favor? Or do you simply rely on the instruction manual and the board in front of you? So that's a fun question, being a content creator. So I've said this before in interviews, but I know not everyone watches interviews. I think I've said it before. I actually never watched board game content until I became a content creator. So prior to becoming a board game content creator, I never watched content because it all seemed to be really, really long. So that's the reason I started doing 1-minute videos. Like, so when the pandemic happened and lockdown began and I wanted a way to stay connected with board games, I was on TikTok and I was like, it would be great to make 1-minute content of board games because I don't have the patience to watch a 20+ minute video anyway. So that's why, you know, I was able to get my foot in the door because I was like, if not the first, one of the first board game content creators on TikTok. And then now there's like a billion. So now if you go on TikTok, there's like hundreds of board game content creators. But, you know, I was lucky to be able to be the first one who started creating these overview videos on TikTok and got my foot in the door, and publishers became aware of my name that way. So yeah, but I never watched board game content before because I don't have the patience to watch like a video that's that's really long. The only time I refer to how to play videos is when I am not understanding a rule that I'm reading before me in an instruction manual, so I may refer to a how to play video to see like, okay, what did they interpret this as, if it exists. So, you know, when I'm previewing a game, there's a chance that there's not going to be a video out there for me to refer to, in which case I have to email the publisher to ask for clarification. But if it's a game that already exists, that's been published, and I'm reading the rule book and I don't understand something, then I will refer to a video if it's, you know, if there's one in existence. And in that case, you know, I'll go to Rahdo's channel usually. So I like watching Rahdo's content. Who else? Yeah, I don't really watch much content. So Rahdo, who else would I refer to? That's it really, I think. In terms of how to play, I think, you know, I've watched, I haven't really watched how to play videos of AntLab games. But I do enjoy their content. Like, I just kind of skim through it. I enjoy their like updates and stuff like that. So I'll watch their update videos and like discussion videos and stuff like that. Usually, in terms of board game content that I watch, I'll just watch like people's reviews. Like, I'll skip through any gameplay or how to plays and just go straight to people's thoughts on games, especially with like Rahdo. Like, I like to hear his thoughts on games that he's previewed, so I don't really watch the how to plays. So yeah, I basically just rely on reading the rule book, and having the board in front of me really helps in order for me to understand how the game is played, so I can visualize what's going on, and that really helps. So yeah. The next question is, how is your elephant game coming? Any updates on the process? And then this person said that the shirt I was wearing in the last video would make a great box cover. That is true. That shirt that I was wearing in the last video, so it's available on Sir Meeple if anyone wants to buy it, merch. So yeah, so I really liked that design. So Tim of Sir Meeple, he made sure to make a design that I would, you know, that would like honor an elephant, and not like, so even though it shows a person kind of like standing on the elephant, it's meant to represent like honoring the elephant and loving the elephant, like not exploiting the elephant. He explained it better than I did, but he did research into it to make sure that I would not, you know, that I would be fine with the design, because you know, I support sanctuaries and I don't believe elephants should be exploited, that people should ride on their backs, because their back is actually their most sensitive part, one of the most weakest part of their body. Actually, their spine is not strong. Their trunk is very strong, their spine is not. Anyway, I'm going off topic here. So my game is coming along well. I had a mentoring session with Ryan Courtney, like weeks ago. I think it was back in March actually, which went really well, and I got some really good feedback from him. And then another board game designer said that he would be happy to for me to show my design to a German publisher. So I need to get some assets together and start showing my game to publishers. But yeah, so it's coming along okay. You know, one of the things that Ryan Courtney said was that he does not get too far along into the playtesting process because he wants to see whether any publishers are interested in his idea before he gets too invested. So that's what he suggested as well. So he said, you know, before you really start doing any more playtesting and like getting really into the nitty gritty of your game, like just start showing your idea to different publishers and see how they feel about it. And you know, he had a lot of other great advice as well. So that's what I'm going to start doing soon. So, you know, I hope that I can get a sell sheet together soon and start showing it to publishers, and I hope someone will bite. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. So yeah, I will try to keep you guys updated on that. And I know for my Ko-fi membership levels, like I said, that one of the, you know, a couple of the membership levels was that if you help me play test my game, I would give you an acknowledgement in the rulebook. It's not come to the point yet where it's even on TTS or Tabletopia or anything, but you know, someday when it is, of course, I will, of course, tell people about that and give them an opportunity to play it if they would like. So I guess that is it. I actually didn't come up with a question to ask you guys. Let me see if I can come up with one on the spot. That's going to be a bit hard to do. Well, I guess I'll just ask you what your favorite word game is, since I have that word game sitting here in front of me. And I'm not sure if I've ever asked that before. So yeah, so, you know, I would say that my favorite word game is Clover, you know, because I think as, you know, and I don't want to stereotype hobby board gamers, but like as hobby board gamers, I think we tend to want to play strategic games more than other kinds of games. You know, this maybe could be considered a party game. It's not a strategy game. So what is your favorite word game? I would be curious to know that. So I guess I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. And if you have any advice about UKGE and getting there on Friday, and even Saturday, just God forbid, in case my carpool falls through, then please do let me know. But I do not want to take the bus. I just don't think it's worth it. And if you're going to be at UKGE, let me know. It would be lovely to meet up with you and just say hi to people who I know online or who watch my content. And yeah, I guess that is it. So I will see you in a few weeks. Until then, bye.